Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Steven, and today I would like to talk to you guys about boutique amplifiers. Now, I'm not going to get into who makes the best boutique amp and who doesn't. Mainly the goal of this video is I want to share my experiences in owning and gigging and using these amps in the studio and what you can expect. And to do that, I kind of wanted to break this into three tiers. The first tier is going to talk about entry-level boutique amps, names that we are pretty familiar with. We see them all the time. Names like Matchless, Morgan, Sir. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's so many great entry-level boutique amps out there. The second tier of this video, I'd like to talk about the stuff that starts to get a little more obscure. Stuff like Divided by 13, Amplified Nation, Greer Amplification. You know, the stuff that you necessarily don't see on a regular basis out in the wild, you know, whether it be playing or in the studio. The third tier is the very obscure stuff. The stuff that is usually a one-off, you know, 1 to 2 man operation, very, very low production numbers, and stuff that you barely ever see and most people have never even heard of. Now, the first amp I want to show you guys is my personal Matchless Lightning 15 non-reverb. Now, this amp has been my main gigging amp for the last 3 to 5 years. It is an incredible amp. It cuts through the mix like butter, and it is a very, very loud 15 watts. Now, some of you may or may not know, in the early 90s, Matchless started off as one of these very obscure small builder type companies. And you make a great product, people catch on, and they were able to scale that company into one of the biggest names in boutique amplifiers today. Now, the second amp I want to show you guys is my Greer Amplification Cam 18, which is a phenomenal amp. It's one of my favorite amps to use in the studio. It just tracks so well. And I think this amp fits in kind of that second category I was talking about, where a lot of us have heard the name Greer from the pedals that they make, and they do make amazing pedals, but they also make amazing amplifiers, and this is one of my favorites. Now, the third amp I want to show you guys is my Oldfield Marquis 6715. Now, this is a 15 watt amp, EL84s, and it is by a builder out of North Carolina. Now, these are very small batch amplifiers. Before I had seen it, I'd never heard of it, and everyone I shows it to has no clue what it is. But you do get a little bit extra on these one-off kind of builds. Nicer woods, more customizable, things like that, and it also sounds incredible. All right, so which amp category is best for you? Truth be told, it's all three. At this level, you're getting an extremely high quality build. It's gonna be reliable, it's gonna sound great, and it's not gonna let you down. Now, there are some pros and cons to owning any one of these amps. Some of the pros is they're extremely reliable and they're very, very easy to work on. Any competent amp tech would be able to fix this because there's no printed circuit board in it. It's kind of just plug and play with, readily available electronics. Also, when purchasing one of these amps, you're going to want to consider a few things, being that it is a big purchase. You're going to want to do some research on what tube configuration you prefer, whether that be EL84s, EL34s, 6V6, 6L6, the world is yours. Another thing you're going to want to consider when getting into the third tier, those really, really unique builds, is resale value. What you customized and thought was cool, whether you covered it in ostrich skin and whatever kind of wood you pick, it's kind of hard to get out of those kind of one-off amps. An amp you paid $3,500 for, you might be hard-pressed to sell it for $1,500 just because nobody knows what it is. Another negative is kind of a funny one, and it's when you're gigging. The crowd doesn't care, let alone do they even know. These amps are for us when we play live or when we play in the studio because we want to feel like we're putting forth our best effort, but in reality, nobody cares. Lastly, what I want to leave you guys with is, if you're thinking about buying this caliber of amplifier, just do it. Go for it. It's worth it. If you can afford it, get it. It will not let you down. And I hope this video helped you guys in making that decision. Take care. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.